Well, at one point in time, the Dallas Cowboys were on top of the world, 6 straight wins, but now obviously a little bit of a rut. Losses in 3 out of 4 coming up on week 13 and kicking off the slate in New Orleans with Nick Eatman. He's covered the team for the last couple decades. I am Adam Kaufman. And Nick, I think first and foremost going into this one, just loads of personnel questions.
Yeah, I mean, who's playing, who's not, who's coaching, who's not. You know, there's a lot of things happening right now, and that's the world we live in, and that's what's going on, you know, obviously with COVID and the protocols. But it's just a crazy time because it's not just you don't have any continuity of like we said, who's playing, who's coaching, but then also this is a weird week coming from this Thursday to Thursday where you've got, you know, Sunday is like a Wednesday and Monday is like a Thursday, and you have to get into that mindset, but you're coming off of a short week where everything was all jumbled. So to say that things are up in the air is you know, is an understatement right now. And so that you've just got to figure out a way to get through it. And you know, it's not going to be the easiest thing, but they are getting some players back. CeeDee Lamb for one, maybe Amari Cooper. That's kind of up in the air still, but it'll just be interesting to see who's all out there and coaching against the Saints.
What do we believe right now with regard to those 2 wideouts you mentioned? I know Amari Cooper, he's back in the building, but he's still dealing with some COVID symptoms. So as unpredictable, obviously, as this thing is, you're not a doctor, I realized, but are there expectations he's going to play?
There are expectations depending on who's saying them. Jerry Jones said, you know, on Tuesday morning, you know, he said that he fully expects Amari to play. And then Mike McCarthy, who's still doing conference calls and stuff this week, even though he won't be coaching on the sidelines Thursday night, but he, you know, he was saying that there's still some symptoms for Amari, so it's. I don't think they would put him out there. Obviously, if he's got symptoms, they're not going to put him out there. So we'll see what happens here leading up to the game.
Does the team, and in particular Dak Prescott, then continue to obviously lean on Cedric Wilson, on Michael Gallup? I mean, these 2 guys were basically what we expected them to be last week in terms of usage.
Michael Gallup, yes. CeeDee Lamb should be back and be ready to go. But as for Cedric Wilson, you know, he's dealing with a ankle injury. He was in a walking boot at the end of the game Thursday, so he did not practice on Monday. So, you know, we'll see again with him. It'll be, you know, Noah Brown and some other guys in there helping out. I think they'll be fine at receiver. They have enough guys in functioning with the offense. As long as the offensive line and the running game can kind of get back. That's really the issue, is that the running game has forced them to be one-dimensional.
Well, you mentioned the run game. I know there were some conversations, at least through reports anyway. How much happened internally, I don't know. But there were conversations about whether or not Ezekiel Elliott should play in this game and, you know, lightening the workload coming up, obviously, toward a playoff push. He obviously has not been himself in recent weeks in terms of average yards per carry and all of that. And honestly, Tony Pollard hasn't been all that much better either. So how does this team get the run game going? And also, what kind of workload should we expect from Zeke on Thursday?
I think what you'll see is you'll probably see a little bit more of a balance there between Pollard and Zeke. They are gonna, you know, they're cutting his snaps somewhat, but they're still playing him, and also looking the fact that after this game, you can get through this game against the Saints, then afterwards you've got kind of a mini bye, if you will. You know, you got the weekend, and then you play the next week in Washington, which is now, you know, shaping up to be a really big game. But you know, not to get ahead of ourselves, I think how they handle this game Thursday night is, I think you'll see Pollard and Zeke. You got to get that offensive line going again, though. And Lyle Collins will be playing on the right side with Zach Martin. I think if they can get those guys healthy at wide receiver, it all just kind of works itself out. Get that passing game going. I think they'll be able to lean on the running game too, but they just have to be more balanced than what they've been.
Plenty we don't know, Nick, as we chat right now, but one thing we do know, and you mentioned it earlier, is head coach Mike McCarthy is not going to be on the sidelines for this one. Dan Quinn, after obviously McCarthy tested positive for COVID, Quinn is coming from the booth to the sideline. The defensive coordinator will be calling the shots, although it sounds like it'll be more of kind of a community effort in terms of how decisions are going to be made. But what's the impact on the field going to be?
Well, we'll find out about that, but I'm a firm believer that teams win and lose games on Wednesday and Thursday of the week. So for the Cowboys, you were talking like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But that's where the preparation is. And that's where I think this is going to be really challenging for the Cowboys. Just with all of the things that have happened, there'll be a trickle effect there. Now, as for on the field, who knows how they respond? I mean, they're going to be facing a quarterback that some would say is not even a quarterback, really, in Taysom Hill. But he's a different weapon, though. He's a different type of guy. And so, they'll have some challenges that the Cowboys will have to face. But I feel like with Dan Quinn being a former Falcons head coach, he's been in the division. He's obviously coached at the Superdome before. He's been down there. He's called defense and coached the game. I don't think that will be a huge transition. I just think it's the preparation of everything that's happened this week to get up there and play. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge for the Cowboys.
Nothing changes stylistically or strategically, anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I at this point, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't think that they're going to all of a sudden do things different with, taking the ball after winning the coin toss and all that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think with every game is different. Just go back and look at the Monday night game between Washington and Seattle. I mean, you go into that and you have a certain way, and then all of a sudden the kicker gets hurt in the middle of the game, and then now you have to adjust. You're going for two when you normally wouldn't. So, I don't think you can go in and say, this is, this isn't Montel Jordan. You don't say, this is how we do it every time. You got to switch it around a little bit. You got to see how the game flows.
See, I debated whether to ask that last question, but now I'm just happy I did because we got that reference in. Most importantly, you're healthy with every COVID sweeping that locker room and team right now?
This thing right here is made of wood. So, yes. Yeah, that's me knocking on the wood. I'm healthy for now. Doing good.
Nick Eatman of the Cowboys. All right, best of luck Thursday, my friend. We'll talk again next week.
All right, see you.